Welcome to the 9 News Business Buzz. I'm Ryan Frazier. If you're looking to buy a home in Colorado right now, you are watching a deeply confusing market. Home prices have stabilized and you are seeing more for sale signs in your neighborhood. Yet, for the everyday family, buying a home has really felt further out of reach. We aren't seeing a real estate crash, we are seeing an affordability lockout driven by stubbornly high mortgage rates. Joining us to break down how local home builders are trying to help buyers navigate this math is David Sinkey, president of Boulder Creek Neighborhoods. David, good to have you back on the program.
Thanks for having me.
David, okay, we got to make sense of this. Now, Coloradans are burning through more of their income these days. In fact, I saw a stat that says 41% of their income now just to pay their typical monthly mortgage. It's kind of frustrating, because you have a market that seems like it's cooled, but it hasn't translated into cheaper monthly payments for the average family. Give us a sense of what's happening in the housing market right now.
Yeah, that's exactly right. If you go back just a couple of years ago when mortgage rates were 3.5%, the median home price in Colorado was around $2,500 a month in mortgage payment. And fast forward to today with the prevailing rates in the mid sixes, that same exact house priced at the exact same price is about $1,000 a month more expensive. And so that monthly affordability just hasn't gotten better, despite the fact that home prices are not increasing the way they did in the last couple of years, or the years following the COVID boom.
Yeah, I mean, you got the average cost of a home now in the U.S. is a little over $400,000. Here in Denver Metro, it's over $616,000, David. A lot of people are just looking at this thing with the interest rates and saying, you know what, I'm just going to sit tight. I'm just not going to move right now. But that's not the case for everyone. We've heard a lot of talk about this K-shaped economy where certain folks and lower income folks are being hit hard, and the upper income folks seem to be doing a little bit better. And that's bearing itself out in the housing market right now. We saw luxury market homes, those that are priced over $1 million, saw a jump in sales of 21%. Talk to us about what's happening right now in terms of who's actually buying, who's not, and why.
Yeah, well, this again comes back to interest rates. So for the luxury buyer, the higher end buyer, they're typically not as sensitive to the rates that are being charged for mortgages today. In fact, they may not have a mortgage. So if you're decoupled from the need to have a lower interest rate, you're probably still buying homes. So the more affluent buyers are certainly in that camp, but also empty nester downsizers, people who have owned their homes for 30 years or more, who may not have a mortgage or have a very low LTV, have a tendency to be the ones that are being a little more mobile in the market today. If you're on the lower end of the price spectrum, or even right in the middle, those mortgage rates are very important to affordability. If you already own a home at a low mortgage rate, it makes it very difficult to transition out of that low payment to something, maybe that house isn't that much more expensive, but the payment really is. And so we definitely have a tale of two very different markets happening here in Denver.
Yeah, so, okay, look, home prices are stuck at around $616,000 here in Denver Metro. Mortgage rates are still kind of sticky, a little higher than folks would like. But there's another issue that I think also plays into this, and this is the regulatory environment that supports, if you will, the supply and demand of housing. Now, we hear a lot of talk, not just in Colorado, but across the country, about red tape and endless approval processes and strict zoning laws. Unpack for us, if you will, what's happening in that space, or rather, what needs to happen, David, in that space to make it easier to build and develop in Colorado to get more affordable housing in the market.
Yeah. Well, maybe the simplest way that I can say this is if I was king of Colorado for a day and the issue I was dealing with was housing, I would do everything I could to try and homogenize the requirements across the Front Range. So as a relatively small builder, we build anywhere from a couple hundred to 300 or 400 homes a year. And when we do that, we're looking for any type of efficiency that we can get. And if we're working in 3 different municipalities, or actually more like 13 municipalities on the Front Range, all of them have a different set of criteria, a different process, different codes that they've adopted. So it makes it very, very difficult, once you do have a project approved, to deliver something at the lowest dollar. From our vantage point, we can see all kinds of places where lots and lots of money is spent just coming up with all these different variations. And so I think that would be probably the one thing I would do that would make the biggest difference in the new home market.
Yeah. Talk to us a little bit, if you can, about what builders like you all at Boulder Creek are doing to kind of help get more people into homes right now? Are you offering incentives? Are you buying down interest rates? What are builders doing right now to try to help folks get into these homes?
Yeah, many builders, understanding that the mortgage rate is such a key element, are spending a lot of money buying rates down. I can tell you from a builder profitability standpoint, that's not a sustainable strategy, but it's something that's been going on for the last couple of years. So there will be a time where the mortgage rates in new homes are going to need to moderate back to what the rest of the market is paying. But we're also getting creative with product types. One thing that we do at Boulder Creek is we're producing a product called the We Cottage, which is smaller lot, single-family homes at townhome-like densities, 6 to 8, maybe 12 units to the acre. So density is a part of the equation as well.
Wow, so much more we could unpack here, David. It's clear that solving Colorado's housing crisis will require more than just waiting for interest rates to drop. It demands a rethink of how we build and regulate the supply. David Sinkey, president of Boulder Creek Neighborhoods, thanks so much for joining us again on the program.